Let's see what it is. Are we live? If we're live, hit that like button. We're playing around here. We're playing around. Like I said, I always like using this thing. It's just I got to get so used to it, and then sometimes the mic doesn't work. So we're jumping on, just playing around here a little bit, checking things out. More welcome to ask any questions, concerns, life events. Let me know what state you're from, what you're doing this weekend. Are you hustling? Are you relaxing? Are you cruising? Let's check out here. What else we can do? Layout press. All right, let's just try this. Close. Invite. I can invite a guest. No, wasn't planning on doing that. This layout, I don't know what this is doing. Excuse me. You know what I got to do? I got to put my tool bag together. I think the bins. You know, that's one thing I was thinking for some of my viewers. I was like, they should send me. I should have you guys send me some pictures of your tool layout. Like, what's your go-to tool bag? Excuse me. Like, I used to really like the bucket. Settings, invite. And you know what's weird about this too is you can't see if anybody does the like on it, which is weird. If you guys can, though, somebody let me know the audio's okay. Well, like I said, if you're cruising through, hit the like button. Always. It always helps bring more people, more fun. Rusty's on board, I see. Rusty, I'm just checking here, see what's going on. Rusty, you should send me a picture of your tool bag sometime. What's your go-to, man? I was big on the 5-gallon buckets. And I think I'm pretty sure they were the Husky brand, I believe. I feel like there was one before the Husky brand, but all you can buy now is like the Husky brand. It's the apron that goes over the bucket, and it has all your tools. That worked good for a lot of years. I really like that. We used to have, I think they're all running it. Yeah, I think all the guys are still running it, besides me, because I got old. And so what I did is I decided to go with the one with wheels, the little tripod thing that comes out so you can wheel it. Because I figured out in commercial settings, it was a lot easier wheeling that thing through the shop because sometimes you have to park and you have to go way in the building or it's an interior door. So it was a heck of a lot nicer for that. And then what I was going to do when I was more hardcore into it, I was going to get me one of those little carts. I think they're made by Rubbermaid. And I was going to, carry that when needed, when I knew I went to certain shops and stuff. And what I could do is I could put some of my stuff on there and wheel that puppy through, take my tool bag. The guy down in Arizona, he just had a little bag. Haiti, huh? Rusty says, live stream come up, even on vacation. Still can't stop thinking about garage doors. Tony says he sent me my tool bag. He sent me a tool bag. Tony, I don't think I've seen a picture of that yet. Maybe it hasn't came through yet. Rusty's I got a Husky tool belt. Some days I wear it. Most days I just bring it inside and grab what I need. The tool bag. Yeah, so the tool bag is nice, or tool belt. I kind of like having it. Just all depends kind of on the weather and the job site and what I'm doing. Because I find out that I'm starting to not like. It really depends on like the humidity and stuff like that. I don't like stuff stuck to me. I'm sweating and all that kind of stuff. But the tool bag is nice, especially if you got a clip for your impact gun your impact gun. They work really nice, especially like in a lift and that stuff, like a scissor lift too. You don't have to bend over so much. You can put the screws right in your pouch. It's definitely nice. I was always, I don't think I have anybody. I maybe somebody does. I always thought about, I wanted to design, there's some out there you can buy. I I don't know if they're any good, but I always wanted to buy a vest. It'd be kind of hard in the summertime. But I always thought a vest, you know, you could put your winding bars, you could have stuff kind of attached to you more on the chest area versus the bags. What's this? What is this computer doing? But it'd be nice. It'd be nice. Rusty, you're in Haiti? Holy moly, man. Tool belt. No, the little clip I sent you in the mail, that's what I use in my pocket. That's so cool. That is so cool. What did I sign up on this thing here? Nah, just playing around. Let me see if I can throw some of these. Let's say we can do Tony's. Cool. Block. All right, sends it out. So that's cool. Like I said, he knows having a little fun here, playing around on a Sunday. No, so I ended up I went from maybe you guys have seen some of my videos on that. I got a Milwaukee case that I put the tools in. And I more or less did that because in case it rained, the weather, because I don't have a topper. But I've kind of noticed it's a little bit, it just doesn't feel like home. So I got some taller bins that you get from Home Depot. They're big. I use them for like camping or hunting and stuff like that. So I thought, well, you know what? I think I might try that. And then what I like about it is most of the stuff is in those and they're just Husky bins. And it kind of out of sight, out of mind. You know what I mean? Like it keeps it out of that, hopefully for somebody looking over. Cause I can probably just throw a strap over if I put both of them in there or even just one, throw a ratchet strap and just gives me that little bit of extra protection. So we just don't get somebody that just walks past, goes, ooh, that's a nice impact, or that's a nice whatever, right? Drill, sawzall, whatever. Because for some reason, when they got that red stuff on them, or the yellow, or whatever they are, anything that's got power, battery power, people seem to go, ooh, little snack. Oh, okay. So, okay. Got it, Rusty. Well, if you get a chance, Rusty, you know, hey, man, you know, I like pictures. I always like seeing other places, man. I love it. I love it. Like I said, it's one of those things. I will probably never, ever have the opportunity to go there. You can send me a fountain. You can send me a bird. I like pictures. I just general, whatever, trees. I like seeing like, you know, I'm used to just to pine trees up here in Michigan. Pine trees. We got some oak trees. We got some maples. You know, anything that's cool. We're surrounded by a bunch of ponds and water. What do you got, Tony? For me, and I get back, and my brother does all the service and small installs. Rusty's got. Did you notice the little picture besides my name? Yes, I did. I did right now, Mr. Tony. It's a cool picture. I've seen that one before. The one that's over precision, I believe. Of course, I don't think I can click on it, like see it. Let me see if it'll pop up if I looks real close. Let's just go like this. Oh, yeah, here it's a little bigger. Oh, yeah, right over the precision, huh? Oh, look at you. Dirty dog, dirty dog. That's okay. I'm so bummed, man. I had somebody a while back that was a precision guy, precision garage door. He never got with me. I was like, man, it's like, I need you guys to shoot me an email and say it's me. I'll try not to bug you, you know, but it's like, I'd love to talk with one of them or somebody that's been worked with them or any information, you know, anything they got, any intel, how they kind of set it up. Cause obviously they must be somehow like commission based. You know, why do they push so hard, man? Why they not doing the granny so good? Why are they taking advantage of granny? So my dad always joke around. He says, what old lady you ripping off today? I didn't rip the old ladies off. The old ladies typically always got the best, actually. I always do. I always kind of figure, you know, somewhere between 2, 3, 4 Just depends, right? I kind of do. I won't do I don't do the charity or stuff like that. But what I'll do is I'll do it for customers that are kind of in need. So I'll I've had it before. I've done a service call and it's like, I've even done broken springs or something like that. And I'm like, you're all set. Like, what do you mean? Like, you're all set. You're all set. Da-da-da-da. Oh, dang, man. Rusty says he says off my front porch is a coconut tree and mango. Dang, that's cool. Yeah, I don't know if I've ever seen coconut trees up close, but I think. What's up, Mr. Eric? Eric, I see Kevin's here too. Ooh, what's this? What's Kevin got here? What's this? A Virtual 2 bag? Vito? Vutu? All right, gotta Google this. Check this puppy out. Do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do. So what's this called here? It's a tool bag. Let's try that. Oh, snap. So it's basically stay in Safari, whatever. So this is about what? 270, I see. Looks like there's a couple different models. Kind of seeing these ones right up in the top though, right? Kind of like a little tool bag there. I don't know why it is for me though. If that's the case, I've never I see electricians use them a lot, but I've never been into the or the tote bags. I like tote bags for when I'm hunting and stuff like that, but I've never like this would probably be more like the center one here. This thing would quit shining. The center one looks like more of a pouch. Let me see if I can find the ones. I can tell you what though. There's one I bought. I forget which brand it is. So I got a couple of the Huskies with wheels on them, and I bought a different brand, but it had a top that zipped. I hate that thing, man. Especially when you're up in the lift and that, you got to constantly flip it open. It drives me nuts. Husky, how do you spell it? Tool bag, maybe. Here we go. This is Bauer. Oh, you can buy them at Harbor Freight. Looks pretty darn close. Harbor Freight. Husky. I don't know why Walmart is selling this one. Let's go to Husky. I believe it's this guy right here. How many Hondos is this one? All this stuff's gotten kind of expensive over the years. Husky. You're not showing me what I want, Husky. Buy them at Home Depot. Am I the only one? I feel like Lowe's. I feel like Home Depot. I just like Home Depot a little better. Even though I shop more Lowe's, it's more closer to the shop. But I don't know. Home Depot just feels more manly to me. It just feels, maybe it's because they actually got like real power tools that you can buy. I don't know if you can still buy DeWalt's and stuff there, I assume. This little booger won't let me click on it. Let's check it out here. Anyways, I was organizing that today. I thought, man, it feels like the good old days, on a Sunday, putting the tool bag back together. Boy, I used to tear a lot of vans apart and stuff and work on stuff on the weekends. Maybe Harbor Freight, I'll have a better picture. Yes, Harbor Freight, $89. It's not too bad. I don't know what kind of quality it is, but something like that. It's got the little telescope. Hopefully it's got wheels in the back. If the camera would focus. Something like that. The reason I went to that one is because, like I said, if you go into a commercial building and you got to go up the ground level ramp and you got to go around, into the building, because a lot of times, like, we have ones that have docks, semi-truck docks. So you go up, you got to walk around, man, carrying that bucket. It started getting heavy. Mine was always loaded. I'm kind of the guy that's like, when I'm up in the lift and that, I don't want to get back down. I have to walk back out. Dang, we got Eric, we got Liftmaster Evan. He says, hey. Anybody else working today? Anybody organizing tools, getting stuff ready for the week? Next week's going to be a little crazy. We got I'm on for jury duty. Great. Just what I want in my life. Eric says I should probably get a tool bag, but I just haul around an old metal toolbox. Oh, no. No metal toolbox. Metal toolbox rust to get the flakes in it. They get dusty and dirty. No. You need cloth, man. It's too bad you're not closer because I got an extra bag that it might go to. I was wondering if maybe Mr. Kale would want it, but it's one of those things. It's kind of like an old hat, old pair of boots. Man, I kind of hold on to it and go, man, the memories, all the heartache with one of these. Sometimes, there was the one with the lid. I could probably get rid of that one because you got to find a way to tape it up or something. It drives me nuts. It's always flapping down. I'm like, good. I'm like, why did I get this? I don't even remember why I got it so much. I think it had some better wheels on it, more aggressive, a little bit bigger for like kind of off-road. Sometimes you go through the sand and dirt a little bit. If I get a tool bag, I won't have to worry about it getting it all banged up. Yeah, metal's tough, man. Metal, I don't like metal. It's just too sharp. I don't think I'd ever go with a metal one just for like when we put it like in a scissor lift and that, like it'd catch your shirt, bang up next to stuff. Maybe a customer's car if you're doing kind of residential. If you're, the buckets always work pretty good. What was nice about the buckets, you can even do with a bag, like the one I kind of showed you. You can just kind of throw your stuff in it if you have to, like last case, worst ditch, emergency. Like some of the jobs I go to, I try to make sure I bring a 5-gallon bucket because it just seems like you always have nuts and bolts and screws, and there isn't somewhere to throw them. You don't want to be like disrespectful to the customer and just throw this in the corner right here. I'll clean them up later. So it's just nice to be able to chuck stuff right in a 5-gallon bucket. What I need to find out, though, is I need to find a way. It just dawned on me. If you could slow it down a little bit. Because sometimes you throw them in the bucket, they pop right back out. They almost need to make like a little bladder system for them. So it kind of when you throw it in there, it won't bounce back out. But that's a little extreme. Okay, so Kevin's got here. Let me bring some of these up. Right? That's the point of this thing. It's supposed to be able to show these. Which is probably good, which would probably be a better software to actually use for a live stream. Except I can't do it as far as I know from my phone. I have to check into that. Because what would be nice is I'm assuming if somebody goes back in this live stream, right, that they're going to show. I don't see the comments when you do a live, unless you do it after the video is posted. And that's kind of a bummer because what was it the other night? Somebody was mentioning something to me and I was thinking, gosh, I wish I knew what that was, and I don't know how to go back and see it. Let's check this out. Vedo tech. Tick. OT. I see we'll go dash LC. Here it is. Oh, tool bag. Ooh, that looks pretty nice. I'm liking this. So this is and it's the OTLC. So does it come with what do you do with the bag? What do you do with this right here? So you put that like in a belt, or does it come with a belt? That's a pretty nice little slick setup. What do you do with the bag though? That's what I'm wondering. Like, is that like a tool belt bag? Because here's this, right? And this almost looks a little small to me. I almost need a little more room for stuff I carry. And then this. It's almost like they could kind of integrate that all together. That'd be pretty cool. But it looks nice. It looks nice. And then what is this? Like, does this come with it too? Whatever this little, there's a little like plastic thing right here. Oh, look at that. I can zoom in. Getting smarter. Like, what is that? What would somebody use that for? Let me zoom into this bag a little bit. Looks pretty solid though. It's kind of cool. Looks like it's got like a hard tray in it. That hard tray. Looks pretty nice. Handle looks sweet. I like the handle. It's not burning into your. That was a problem with the 5-gallon buckets. You start getting a lot of weight in them. You start carrying that, man. That plastic thing is just melting in your hand. It's pretty nice. What? So Evans, guys, has got a pair of Milwaukee drills with bag and batteries worth $300 for $66 with a gift card a few weeks ago. Wow, nice. Couple drills, huh? I wonder, Evan, do you have the Milwaukee? Are you kind of like everything in Milwaukee, or do you have do you also have like the impact guns? Dun, 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 dun. I'm just curious. Show that. Oh, look at that. How big that is. That's nice. That's nice. Yeah, I don't know if I'm getting to be like, I don't know how picky I am really with power tools. You know, my Milwaukee, they've served me pretty well, but they're a little pricey, you know, and it's tough, especially if you got, you know, it's different if you're a one-man band kind of, because you can like kind of keep an eye on that stuff. But like when you get employees and you start expanding into like another truck, and then they leave tools behind, and I don't know. I've always wanted to kind of try Ryobi. So anybody got any hookups on Ryobi? Ryobi, hook me up. I'd like to try some of your tools. I hear different things, and there's certain guys, there's certain things that are made. I always just liked the Ryobis because they had so many options. My first thing when I did power tools, I still to this day, I always look for the nailer. And so it's weird that I still don't, I don't know if I've looked up a trim nailer, a Milwaukee trim nailer, because I still got the old 18 volt DeWalt's, and they still work. And I just trust them. I believe in them. I know how they act. I know they don't mind, you know, they ain't got no goofiness to them. They might shred a belt on me. So that's why I carry two. And I'd be interested to know, like, do you guys, I prefer the angle trim nailers. Some of you guys don't even probably use trim nailers. You're using hand bangers, you know. But my first thing, I always look for the trim nailer, deciding whoever I'm going to go with, right? Because I think the rigid one's pretty weak. It works, but it feels real primitive. But anyways, when I used to look at brands, this was quite a few years ago before they even, you know, I was always like, I'm going for the trim nailer, because whoever's got the trim nailer means they got probably everything else, right? Everybody's got a drill. Everybody's got an impact. What's Tony got? Oh, shoot. Tony says, I'm out on an hour from home, going to Marketplace. What we got, Tony? What you getting? Ooh, put a magnet. Tony says, put a magnet in the bottom of your bucket. What you going after, Tony? What's on Marketplace? He's probably going for a spring turner. Yeah, he's probably coming to the other side. Oh, look at even Eric. Eric's got it. Look at, what are you getting, Tony? Everybody wants to know, man. He's got the chair massager. He's probably getting a foot massager. I knew it. What's Kevin got here? He says their interchangeable pocket configuration. You can change out plastic container can fit in middle, fits up to 3, or just use plastic dividers down the middle. Nice. Nice. Kevin, I'm just curious, where did you get yours? Did you order it online? You got a local place? I'm assuming, like I said, I can obviously get it online, but I'm just curious. Ordered it off Amazon. Amazon's got everything. No, it looks pretty nice. I run pretty heavy on my bags, which is I'm kind of a pig when it comes to it. I got like big channel locks, big blue, and it's probably more or less because the thing is I deal with, I deal with gate operators, I deal with fencing. So you got to have a couple different pair of pliers for that kind of stuff. Sometimes I'm doing stakes. So, in the ground for ropes and that. So I need like a bigger hammer. I like to have a bigger hammer. I like to have a rubber hammer. I like to have a standard hammer. I like to have a pry bar, or a flat bar. Because that was always, if you're doing garage doors and stuff, you got to pull wood off. Or I used to use it a lot for man doors to help, pick up the door while you're doing the hinges and stuff. Things like that. I like to carry I carry some big wrenches, 1 inch and pretty much all the way down to 5/16. What else to carry on there? You got your chain brake. I mean, I carry 4 pairs. I'd probably almost like to carry 6. I carry 4 pairs of vice grips for a door that's crooked on you. I got my grapples in there. I probably wouldn't normally carry those, but I'm gonna keep them in there right now just because I don't have a service vehicle that I use. Just in case I got to go help somebody. And all I got to do is throw a come along, and you do a lot with those grapple tools and a come along. They can really save you. What's this one got? Eric says, I can't imagine hauling around tools with a 5-gallon bucket. Well, just so we're clear, just to make sure, the 5-gallon bucket had one of those skirts on it. I don't know if you've ever seen them. It worked really good because the 5-gallon bucket was like, I tell you what, man, there's like nothing you can do, with a 5-gallon bucket, man. If you got to use the crapper, you can do that. If you got to, there's just so many options with a 5-gallon bucket. I mean, I've sat on them before, right? Just waiting for somebody or working on something, just on the lips, not doing business. Don't be like that. If you need something really to huff some water or something, you can gut the thing. Your tools. It's amazing. I was just thinking today when I was doing it, I thought, isn't it funny how in life everything needs to go up? It feels like, like all your tools, they got to go up to make them fit. 5-gallon. We'll do bucket. Tool bag. I think that's what we'll do. Tool organizer. That sounds about right. So something like this is pretty close, right? Yeah. Can I zoom in on it? I can. Something like that. Pretty. But what I found out is you can't see it, but they got a hanger up there, or that, that white little piece or whatever for your hands. That thing would, like I said, especially if you don't clean it out. Some guys would throw the extra parts and stuff in there and then clean them out later. I didn't really like doing that too much. I always just like having a separate, like a coffee can or something, or another box, and then do it when you're back at the shop. Sort out the tools that you can keep. I've used a 5-gallon bucket to stand on it, on the lips of it, because I forgot a ladder or didn't want to grab a ladder. You ever get distracted? I get distracted. I see him, Rusty. I seen they came through. dun, 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 dun. Evan's guy says, I don't know. He says, I just got Milwaukee because it's Americans who say in a southern accent. My daddy used Milwaukee, so I do too. That's cool. That's cool. Like I said, I'm not a hater. I don't care what you use as long as it gets the job done. You know how I look at it. The only one I still think of is I forget one of the trucks has got, what the heck is it? Makita? I think it's Makita. They got a Makita on there. And the Makita Sawzall has two batteries on it. I'm like, that seems a little overkill, you know. But I guess it must have some grunt to it because I think one of the guys took it to cut up a deck or something. So it must be because he knew it had some muscle. I think the ones I can't get on though is they've sent us some tools before. I can't remember if they sent us. I think they sent us one. It didn't last too long. Was the Cobalt brand? And I don't know about the Craftsman. If they got Craftsman, those seem a little. I don't know. I guess if somebody uses them and they work, you know, let me know. You know what I mean? Like, as long as you don't gotta use your teeth, it works out pretty good. Oh shoot! What's Tony got here? Tony says there ain't no way. He says I'm buying a spring turner. He says I love my Surewinder. Of course not. He wouldn't. He's a salesman for him. He's getting commission and everything. I know it. I know it. It says if you must know, and a card. Oh, okay. A card. I can't say it. Arcadian Game Defender. Nice. Well, we had to know. Now we know. What's there, guys? Says the majority of power tools I use are Ryobi. They're pretty good for me. Price, and they got just about any cordless tool imaginable. But I'd probably get Makita if buy new tools. Yeah, the Makita seem to work pretty good. I know, you know, I don't know. I really still feel like if I was to jump into it and I was kind of a greenhorn into it, right off the top of my head, I still think about DeWalt. I don't know why. Maybe it's just because I first started out with them. But they sometimes even got some more options. I think the reason I'm kind of leaning towards them, honestly, if I had to be honest here, is they got this little power washer, right? They got a little miniature power washer, and I thought, man, that'd be nice for cleaning vehicles or just a little job here and there, nothing major. And I'm like, come on, Milwaukee, come on. Where's, you know, because basically I got all the power tools for Milwaukee, and I'm like, come on. But DeWalt just, I don't know. They really go back and forth, right? It's like sometimes DeWalt has something that Milwaukee doesn't, and Milwaukee might have something that DeWalt doesn't. So it's just kind of like, and I even think the Ryobi has a little miniature power washer, you know? Milwaukee or Ryobi, how dare them. It's 3G signal, so not sure when you get it. They got pigeons. Send it through a pigeon. Get a Polaroid. Email, Rusty says. Thank you, Rusty. It's cool. Very nice of you. Thank you. Tony says I carry a lot of tools and in my I'm assuming in my vehicles. But I only carry what I need on the job up to the house. Yeah, it's I totally get that. It's better to have than not to have, it seems like, especially if you don't want to have to drive back to the shop or the house or the warehouse or the storage unit or enclosed trailer or shipping container or underground bunker. It's just better to have it while you're there, you know. I used to what I did to kind of highlight on that a little bit with what Tony's saying. I also had a little pouch, a half pouch that would kind of go on your hip, and I had that as like my to-go one. So what I would do is if I had a broken spring, that basically would have everything in it or a broken spring. I just have to grab my winding bars, but it'd have like the wrench and stuff like that. And that just kept my, kind of like with Tony, just kind of keep your load light. Eric says I stood on a 5-gallon bucket working on garage door openers. Hey man, I'm telling you, it just can't go wrong with a 5-gallon bucket. It can be, it's especially when you're, I don't know. I just feel like I just got such a soft spot for the 5-gallon bucket. I really do. They just did so many things for me. You know what I mean? Oh my gosh, we don't have a garbage can. Not a problem. Got one right here. Throw it right in there. To you run into an emergency. It's not the best idea on the road. But like I said, I've said it before, right? I've said it before. When I watched it on TV, right? And I watched that it was a UPS driver or a FedEx driver, and she pulled off the end of a cul-de-sac and there's houses and she did her business. And I mean, my first thought too was like, oh, how disgusting, And then, like I said, when the cough syndrome, the co and the vid came around and everything was closed. I remember going down the road, right? Everything is closed. And all of a sudden, man, that was that day. And this was probably a couple of days after I seen that video. Something hit me in my stomach that I can't describe. I think I was going into labor, but I wasn't. And I told myself, I said, this is not going in my underwear. This ain't going in my pants. And this is sure as hell is not going in my seat where I sit every day in this van. And I told myself, the door is going to go open, the pants are going to come down, and I'm going to lean up against this puppy, and something's going to happen. Maybe a 5-gallon bucket would have came to the rescue. You know what I mean? So after that day, I made it. You know how it went away for a minute, but it was coming back. Whew. And anywho, I remember because of 19 going around. I remember telling myself as I went through town, I would look at all the construction sites or any little oddball stuff that was going on, and I had it marked in my head where every porta-john was. Every porta-john. I'd be like, there's one. Remember that. Because that way, if I was going through town and had a code red, it was like, Or a good one to remember too is the parks, right? Especially if they're open. The kids' parks, play parks, whatever, soccer parks, soccer fields. It's Kevin Gott. He says, I order direct from Veto. He says, during the spring, they offer their sale in the year. Basically got a smaller for free, about $150 value. Nice. Was worried I would get everything in bags, so the smaller bag was a plus. Got all my day to tools in the smaller bag, been sitting on shelf for 6 months with tags still on it. Well, nice. No, I'm glad Kevin brought it up. I really am. I mean, it's good to know it's out there for options. I'm assuming that nobody, of course, like I said, there ain't going to be a ton unless they wash it afterwards. As I say, I don't think I've ever seen anybody use a tote bag. I see electricians use tote bags, but I can't say I've ever seen a garage door guy use tote bags. Let's see what this one's got. I sent a picture to your email of drills I got. It's an impact and regular drill. Oh, perfect. That's even better. I just saw that's why I was kind of like, 2 drills. Like, that's a little odd combination, but there's weirder things going on in the world. Somebody was telling me, I don't know if it was somebody here. Somebody was telling me, boy, I can't know. I don't know if I dreamt this or if it's true. I believe it's true. I thought somebody told me that Milwaukee, I don't know if I want to say they're the only one, but they are one of the ones that Milwaukee only uses this. They'll use the same brand or same like drill, right? And that drill is across the board. And so let me give you an example. When I was buying DeWalt 18 volts, I found out that DeWalt had at least 2, maybe 3 different designs of drills. So like the ones you'd maybe buy at Lowe's were maybe not the same that you bought online or at a dealer that sold them. The numbers would be different. And so it was almost like they kind of had a retail version. Maybe they had a wholesaler version. They had a contractor version. I don't know the whole story behind it. But from what I was told, Milwaukee, if you buy a drill, a standard drill, you buy it from the store, you buy it online, you buy it from a wholesaler, dealer, whatever, it's the same drill. I only bought from one guy, so I don't know for sure that being the case, but that's what I thought I heard. And I thought that is kind of nice. I am not going to lie, because when we'd have drills that would burn up or they got dropped from ladder, destroyed, right? I would literally walk into the office and I would tell the secretary, I'm like, you got to get the same one. Like, look at this part number right here. You must get the same one. I don't care if you got to get it off eBay, brand new, whatever, get the same one, because this one works really good. We've had like 0 problems. I don't want the other version, because it just seemed like I was always constantly, I'd order something and I'd be like, what the, and I've said it before. I'll say it again. I highly recommend don't buy used tools, power tools, especially if it's kind of your livelihood, unless you're like a guy that's going to rebuild them or you got 3 of them and you don't mind that kind of stuff. Don't buy used tools. It's just one of those things. Buy new, be the original owner, know what you're doing. Unless it's something like a hand-me-down and you just need something, you're just starting out, go for it, But I got to a point, I was buying used tools and there'd be something wrong with it. The trigger wouldn't work right. And it was like, that was stupid. I saved, $60 and I thought the trigger's not working right. This is dumb. Tony says, okay. He says, I'm going up. He says, I don't come back. They killed me. Well, if they killed you, I know where I'm going to get me a Surewinder. Dang it. I gotta get in good with Tony's wife. Darn it. Be down there. Tony really wanted me to have this. He did. What does it say? How long do you wait for potential customers to call you back? Waiting on a guy to call me back so I can get an address, so I can get measurements for a spring. Ooh, that's a good one. That's the kind of stuff I like. I don't know. I mean, does it seem like a person that would possibly text? Because you could always just shoot a text and obviously it'll come back. If it's a landline or something, it'll tell you it doesn't go through. But that's always kind of a hard one, right? Because you might be on the hook and they might be dealing with somebody else, or they got 5 people in the queue. I wouldn't be afraid though. I mean, probably, I give them, depending on what the conversation was in a sense, yeah, you give them 10, 15, 20 minutes. I'd say that's very reasonable. But what I do nowadays, right, for anything with business, and especially if you're doing the garage doors, I always have the mindset not to insult the customers. We love our customers, but most of them out there, sometimes the residential ones, those can be the dum-dums. Not all, maybe half. But they can really kind of waste your time. So you gotta stay on them. Like I said, there was a point it was getting so bad, I was getting irritated. I literally wanted the secretary to get some kind of form of payment from them to put them on the schedule. I never understand why, in a sense, right? Why do the dentist, right? Why do they get to, if you don't call within 24 hours or 3 days or whatever their policy is, right? you're going to get charged some kind of fee, right? That always ticked me off, where it's like for us, right? Our time is, I was watching a little clip and a guy was saying, how he goes, he goes, contractors, you know, they don't value their time. And I thought, gosh, I kind of can somewhat agree with that. I feel like, because I go, sometimes when you add up all the time that we invest, you know, you kind of look at it and scratch your head and go, geez, man, what the hell am I doing? I need to be charging more. I need to be more aggressive. I need to say no. I need to maybe expand my funnel, get more customers, and then filter those customers for good customers. And as you expand the top, you dissolve the bottom, which are the bad customers. Let those go on to somebody else that's petty. Just seen, I think it was on a post today or something. It was a guy saying, about the, and I wanted to say something. And like I said, it's just one of those things I like to think about, right? I think about, it's not that it's true. It's not, but he was saying, he goes, this is why you got to, I think he was 24 hours or something, or he says, why you got to be open on the weekend. He says, because he did something with his competition. His competition didn't answer the phone. And he's like, this is why he answered, because he says he's got a job out of it and stuff. And I was thinking, that's true. And I felt that way one time when I was a young buck. And I remember, telling myself, right? Oh my gosh, like these other guys that are my competition that have been in business way longer than me. These guys are a bunch of idiots. There's so much business out here, and I was getting after hours and I was doing weekends. And then it's like, now that I'm kind of one of the old timers getting there, not quite there, I look at it, and when I seen that, I went, well, there's a lot of variables there. For one, maybe that guy or your competition could care less because he's got so much customers, he don't even know what to do with them. So the weekend, he doesn't care. And I thought I can kind of see how that happens, because we used to do like 24-hour service. And it used to just become a headache for us. We had so many people that waste our time, or you basically sucker them into, when you tell them, say, well, it's going to be another $100 or $200 or $300 more for me to come out right now. And they go, oh, well, I'll just wait for Monday, whatever. And you can typically scoop them up, which is good. It's good money. It really is. I mean, there was a time I told myself, I was like, I'm just going to do after hours and weekends, because you can charge more, and people love if somebody answers the phone and gets back to them and all this other kind of stuff, especially when the car's trapped. But, I was thinking about the other day a little bit too. And I kept thinking, I really, really like our loyal seasoned customers. You got to think about it. You don't have to go out there, and they're going to contact you. They're going to use you. You're in their system. You got all your insurance figured out, blah, blah, blah. You know what you're dealing with, the variables. You normally deal with, medium, middle-aged guys to younger, and they'll help you. Just some stuff, it always goes through my mind. I'm always thinking about that kind of stuff. But like I said, don't be afraid. Don't let the customer waste your Sunday. You know what I mean? Like I said, say, hey, look, set deadlines. I had a point where I was doing noon on days, right? Because I get people that always jerk me around. They call and they'd be like, well, I don't know. I'm gonna do something, blah, blah. And I'd throw it kind of back in their face. I say, let me know. I said, because the schedule's filling up fast. So I said, either, we can still get you in. And then they'd call back like 2-3 o'clock in the afternoon. And I'd be like, no, like, we can put you off the next day. Well, I don't know. Maybe I'll have to call. I'll let you know. You know what I mean? Go ahead. Go away. You get a lot of people that do that. You know what I mean? It's amazing. At least, like I said, in the business demographics, you just get a lot of people that'll waste your time. And I do not. When I start looking at stuff like the dentist, I start looking at stuff like the attorneys. I try to eliminate that right over the phone, right from the get-go. You know what I mean? I just talked to a guy, and I'd love to know their story, right? They're older. They're an older couple that own the business. They do well drilling and stuff. And this guy works for them. And he goes, they won't send us out. And then we only do, like, when we're doing brand new installs or are repeat customers. He says, but they won't send us on a new service. And I was thinking about it, and I thought, where before I'd probably have an opinion on it. And I thought, but there's always two sides to a coin, right? Well, three sides. But I'm sitting there and I'm just going, I don't know. They might just have too many headaches. And like I said, I think it always set into me when it was when I had a refrigerator. And I remember when I called this local small business that's been around forever in the area. And I told them, they said, well, is it our fridge? And I said, no. I said, I bought it from Best Buy. And they said, we don't work on it. And I remember internally, it made me really mad. And I was just like, screw you guys. I'll never use you guys, blah, 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 blah. It's a fridge is a fridge, right? I was green. And then after I started running a business, I started seeing products, and like we'd install like some extreme garage door openers, and they were faulty right out of the box, and we'd have to come back 3, 4, 6 times. I started realizing now I can kind of see why they don't do this. I should have a video coming out in the future here with the one I was doing with Caleb that we had, and I told him right from the get-go, and it was nobody's fault. But I told him, I said, look, have the customer. I said, get a Genie. I said, or a Chamberlain. I said, Chamberlain or Genie. That's it. I said, have them get one of those two. I said, that'll be at least something that'll work. I show up at the job, right? It's a Craftsman. We're going to put a Craftsman on a 10-foot tall door. What? And then the customer was nice enough, right? The customer got the extension rail, right? And that says Craftsman on too. Not the same. This one's made by Guardian, which is Guardian, is I believe who makes extreme garage door openers. The rails don't match at all. And this is where it's kind of like the whole Milwaukee thing again, right? Like I said, if you buy a drillless Milwaukee, you buy it from the store, you buy it from Home Depot, whatever, which I don't think Home Depot sells them. I don't even know if any store sells Milwaukee. Does any of the box stores sell Milwaukee? Maybe Home Depot. I know Home Depot does. Yeah, Home Depot does, right? Gosh, I can't remember. I haven't been to Home Depot in a while. I haven't bought tools. I always go to our dealer or buy them online. Anywho, they're the same. So Genie is Genie and Chamberlain is Chamberlain. Well, of course, like I said, it was all screwed up. Couldn't do it. What's Eric got? Eric's guys. I got all my Rubby tools used for a garage sale. $5. $5 a tool? Can't go wrong with that. Can't say no to that, man. That's nothing. That's pennies. Tony got here. I know, Tony. I agree. I don't know how. I guess I'd have to do a different one. In that video, Tony, was a little bit. It was a little bit tough to see. I bet it took me 3 or 4 times until I was kind of like, what are we looking at? And then I was listening to it. And at first I thought I heard the spring chattering, making noise. And then, so Tony's got an issue with a roller. What is it on Tony? It's I think it's number three hinge popping on them. Look like nylon rollers with bearings, sandwich door with a window section, struts. And when that door gets through the radius and it's cruising on the way back up in the air, it's got this weird just pop. And I told Tony, I said, the only thing I could think of right off the top of my head was that roller's twisted a little bit. And for some reason it's dragging, and then it's getting to a point where it's putting so much pressure on it, then it pops. So I said, maybe make it out of, to me, the way it was popping is you'd have to take, if the door was down, the top hinge and tilt it that'd be to the right. But honestly, I don't know. Don't make me come down there, Tony. We'll figure out that thing. Then I thought about it. I was like, well, maybe if you put I used to have sometimes, you know how it is. Sometimes you just get a weird door that's fighting you. And I used to deal with, I used to put some springs. I bought them from Tractor Supply, I believe, which isn't really the right thing to do, right? I mean, you're putting pressure on it. But I needed something just to keep that spring a little bit in the track. I used to have some, I tell you what, these tracks would do some weird things sometimes to you, especially when you're in like heavy commercial and stuff that's just being used, like I'd watch rollers pop out and I'd be like, how is the roller? Like, I mean, the track doesn't even look that bad. And how in the hell is the roller coming out? I mean, up in the middle of the radius or something, right? I go up there and bang it, do everything. And I just didn't trust it. And I thought, man, if that roller, one or two or three of them pops out, this is not going to be good. It's going to be a problem. So I'd buy these springs. I'd buy different ones because I didn't know what the tension I wanted them to be. And I'd put them on the rollers, right, to help put a little pressure on them. Now, is it going to prematurely wear out the rollers? Yeah. Did I spray oil in the track, grease, whatever? No, not grease, but spray the tracks down. Yeah. Did it buy me time and just make the door work? Yep. That it did. So it's kind of just a weird, but with Tony's situation, I don't think that's going to really help too much. It's got a weird pop, man. It's just a hinge. I know he's oiled it. He's changed the hinge out. All I can think is it's got a little tweak to it, and it's dragging. It's got enough pressure to keep it in there, and then it just kind of pops. I guess these are all basic things for Tony too. I mean, Tony knows all this stuff. Tony's been around. He's been around the block a time or two. So only thing, the back hangs, tighten them up a little bit more. Man, that roller though, those nylons. I was thinking about it too, Tony, and I was wondering about possibly putting some kind of like a lithium, a little bit heavier grease on it a little bit, take it off. But that's a weird one. The only thing, like I said, I can think is that thing when it's rolling up, it's dragging enough and it gets enough where it pops. And the problem is now is the customer is just dead focused on it. So you got to make it right. So what I was saying is like, or loosen it and try to get it to fudge one way or another. You know how it is though with these doors, you'll turn them into Swiss cheese really quick. So I carry these, they're self-tappers, but they're made for red steel. Turn this off for a second. They're skinnier. And I was thinking like if you took the top ones and tipped it, drill just a couple new holes, get that hinge off a little bit. It's the only thing I can think of. Here's the thing is I used to work in a roll form factory. And when it used to go through the sweep, right, it'd make bumpers. And so it'd go through the sweep. And sometimes you go up there and, you're trying to get in calibration. You make a little tweak, and you're just fighting this thing. You're making a bunch of scrap metal. I don't know why, but sometimes it really worked. Sometimes little tweaks would work, right? And then other times I'd go up there and I'd be like, screw this, man. I just start ripping on that thing. It's not going in the right direction. Let me just reef on this puppy. And then it would go out and I went, okay, something changed. Thank goodness. Finally, something changed. And then I would revert back. So that's why I kind of think about the hinge and I just go, screw it. If it's making noise, put it out of whack. You know what I mean? Tilt that puppy a little bit. And then, if it's still doing it, well, that ain't it. If it's doing it the other way, that ain't it. And a little light lithium grease or something, maybe that helps. That's a weird one though. But the thing is too, is I could have sworn I seen that video, Tony. I could have sworn I seen deflection. I can't say for sure if I remember, but I seen deflection in that track when it was going up, like the door's heavy. So the horizontals is tipping. And I don't know if that would be a problem, but I know it caught my eye and I went, man, why is that thing tipping so much? So maybe a mid support, maybe that door is just heavy and I'm not seeing the outside or something's goofy on it. Maybe somehow with it twisting, but I think it only looked like it was like a 16x7. It was a small door. Nothing too big. So what else you guys got? Anything else new out there? Everybody. Evan sent me something too. Nice. Before we hop off here, hope everybody has a good Sunday. Hopefully I have a good week. Rusty, when you coming back? Shoot me a text or something. Let me know when you're coming. When you coming back? When you coming back, man? When you coming back to work? Everything's going to be all jammed up. we'll have to see how this week goes. I ended up, I told Cap's, and then Cap's going to be Cap's off this week too. He's got a little vacation, so that also adds to it. And I think we got a door for one of the commercial guys going up, and the guys are going to be there for like 3 days, maybe working on them. And so he was asking if I could help, and I was like, I'd love to. I said, but I don't know if I'll be around. I said, I might be at the county house. The problem is that I think they're going to run it. I always call them a 2-truck plan, 3-truck plan, 1-truck plan. That's how I call them. Like they're going to, 2 guys, 2 trucks. They're going to run up there with 2, and that way, if one's got to buzz off, and then I can hopefully relieve one of them. Is kind of the game plan. There is really no game plan for this one, especially when we got unknowns. They don't call back. Usually means they found someone else. Ooh, look what Rusty put in here. It says, let's put this up. It says, Evan, he says, if they don't call back, it usually means they found someone else. That is very true. That is true. Somebody call them back. Somebody can get there sooner. Somebody can do it cheaper. It's always something, man. It's always something. That's kind of why we got to a point at one point. Like I said, I don't know. I don't really ever hear anybody talk about it, but I really believe in loyal customers. And I think it's really kind of hard in some degrees to find them in the residential. It's not that they're not there, but you got your sticker on the door. They use you, but I feel like they're always kind of the easiest ones to peel you off and find somebody else if somebody can do it faster, quicker, sooner. But that's why I was always hoping to find somebody at the scale or a little bit bigger than like what affordable is to talk to a little bit about it and see what they've implemented. Because I tell you, sometimes I just, in the back of my head, I've said it before. I like the cash customers, but I've had more problem with cash customers in the more recent years, I guess. Where it's like, I'd almost like to lock them up with a credit card. Be like, okay, they got a credit card. It means they got credit. It means, the money's flowing. And even if it's like, we're going to put $10 on there, and that $10 is going to get applied to your service call. That just locks you in. There's a lot of steps, right? That's a lot of steps for the secretaries and stuff like that. But I just feel like it'd be nice to help eliminate some of the people that, because I don't know about you guys. Maybe I'm the only one, but I've gone to jobs and there's another guy there. And I'm like, and they're like, oh, sorry, I forgot to call you. And I'm thinking, sweet. Well, including the, 5 or 10 minute phone call and then the 15, 20 minute drive here one way. And the other job I should be at making money. Thanks for wasting my time versus at least going, hey, we got $10. That's non-refundable. I'd like to see if somebody does. I don't think anybody does it that I know of. It'd be cool though to see if somebody does it more online where they schedule it. There's got to be somebody out there doing it. But that would be pretty cool. If anybody comes across somebody that's doing that, like send it my way. Send me an email or something. Because it seemed like it was like, this wasn't too long ago. And I feel like I was talking with one of the workers or something. And they were saying, I don't know why people text. I'd rather phone call. And I was like, I kind of get it. But honestly, for myself, I'm always like typically in a noisy, distracted. I'm in meetings. I'm at the bank. I'm dealing with customers. I'm just like, there's not normally a good time to be like yakety yak. And then how many times do you call, right? Anyways, and then it's, hi, you've reached whoever. And then, beep. Oh, the voicemail box of this person. You're like, geez, I just wasted a minute or two of my time. Screw it. Type it up, on there. Hey man, call me, whatever. Are you free or something? Or this is what's going on. So anyways, I got to the house. I needed to actually call Service Spring. And Service Spring has so many options, right? I was able just to do it right offline. And I thought, this is great, because the problem was I had kids that were home and they were making all kinds of noise. And I thought, I'll be darned if I call and have screaming kids or something in the background while I'm on the phone. And I thought, this is why it's nice to have all kinds of options, right? Got to think like Amazon. How can you make the next Amazon? Think about that. Isn't that amazing? You don't call Amazon. They trained you and me to order online. Well, that's Tony. I put the Invicta Door Bourbon Oak on YouTube. Yes, he did. You have to check him out. Look up Tony Miller. He should be out there. On the 22nd? Let's see, on the 22nd, Rusty says. Let's see where the calendar is. Yes. So basically the end of next week or Sunday. Nice. So you're going to be out like Cat. Out on vacation. What haven't got here? He says, I forgot to mention, he said he called me at 10 this morning. When I sent a text, he called me and said he was now out of town, that he was going to get back to me this afternoon. Yep. The devil is in the details, right? Yeah, that's kind of a big one. Yeah, that's a big one. I don't know. I would probably write that one off. Or the customer is going to be, customers do all kinds of weird things. I tell you what, man, I've had more weird things with residential customers in my life. A lot of residential customers, I tell you what, don't appreciate your time. They don't care. They don't care what time it is. They got a problem. I need it fixed and I want it now. It's like McDonald's, right? I pull up and I want it my way and I want it now. You know what I mean? So, that's where it's like, you set up an automated phone messaging system. You set up your voicemail, whatever, and you shut the damn phone off and you go, look, you should be happy it's even Sunday and I even answered. And now you're going to have to respect me and you shoot me a text, man, because I'm probably not going to be around to whatever. If you are, you know what I mean? You can, but I don't like that kind of stuff. I don't like people holding me up. I don't like, it's kind of like the whole marketplace. I don't like marketplace people. I found out the strategy. So here's my strategy. Tell me if you got something better, right? If you go to sell something on marketplace, right? What you do is you sure as hell don't ever give them your house, right? Don't give them your house. And especially when you do, me and my brother-in-law have talked about this. It seems like $60 or under, stuff that's $20 or for free. Those are the worst low-life people I've ever met in my life. I tell you, sometimes they're nice people, but they just don't think. And you go to a location wherever you want, they feel comfortable, right? Gas station, parking lot, whatever, right? You do that, you set up a time, because these people won't show up on time. They'll just show up randomly and knock on your door, when it's 2 hours past when they're supposed to. So you gotta kind of learn the algorithm of people, is what I found out. That's what I always tell Cap. I always tell you guys, some of these newcomers, right? It's more mental than it is physical. It's like the physical work is easy, right? You know what to do. It's a broken spring, lube this, change a cable, put a strut on the door, put a new door in. That stuff is pretty easy. It's the mental stuff to try to get through and break through to the customer what needs to happen. And I tell you what, there's a lot of things that honestly I look back at that I wish I would have just told the customer, no, we're not a good fit. I'm not even going to waste my time. I'm not going to waste my time. I'm not going to waste your time. I'm not going to waste my time. Call somebody else, Rusty says, I only had 2 spring jobs out of hundreds this year that canceled before I could return the next day. He says, if it happened more, I would change my procedures. Yeah, like I said, you got to do what you got to do. I think about the ones like we did so many for, the Angie's List and Home Advisors. Those were the worst. Those added up. I've had other customers, just a few. They're not horrible, but it's just, I think of the one that still is a cash customer that one of the guys went and did, and then I think they were like $60 short. So I went back the next day, because supposedly they're supposed to have the money, right? And they only had $20 instead out of the 60. And then it was like, dude, your time, we're paying you so much money that it's not even worth it. We're doing a job that he's like, he's like worth $300 an hour. You know what I mean? Like, then you're out doing something for $160 or $300, whatever it was. It's like, don't even, just whatever. Take the $20 and get the hell out of there. Tony says, yeah, it's the third hinge. Left side gets almost top. Roller will pop. Makes track move. Multiple times, can't figure it out. So, something too, Tony, that just kind of popped in my brain to think about. I'm just assuming here, because I didn't see a size or an overall picture of that garage door. It's just a 16x7, right? You don't have different size sections. It's not a 16x8 or 10 or something going on here, is it? Because, I'm wondering if the sections might be, because it did a weird buck to it, almost like it wanted to lift off. And it seems like sometimes when I've seen that before, that has to do with door sections, being different sizes, and they're not in the right. Rich B, he sent me a little schematic. I can't really show it. I don't want to show Rich B's number, but he sent me something that showed how, the numbers, how to stack it for different size, like 6'3", 6'8". It was pretty cool. It's pretty interesting. So I'm assuming, Tony, they're all the same size though. Yeah, I've changed number 3 hinge. The roller lubed it up really good. I hold for about a month. It'll start popping again. Dude, that's crazy. Man, that's crazy. Tony says it's a Haas. It's a Haas store. Haas makes good stuff. It's number 3. Wondering about maybe the top location too, because I feel like I've had that happen before. They can buck from that top hinge, like where you put your top bracket. Like if you don't put it down or you put it up, it can make that panel sit higher. It's kind of weird how they do that. What's Evan got? Evan, you could always follow up and see if he's interested. Yeah, you might, or just write it off. It doesn't hurt. Some people are like that. We had a sales guy that was always, he wanted to know. You know what I mean? He wanted to know. And then, which isn't bad. You can always say, well, I've had it. So sometimes I look at it like this too, right? I look at it and I go, this person wasted my time. So I go, I'm going to waste theirs. So you call them back, or you text them or however you're doing it. Right. And you say, hey, do you still need my service? And they say, oh, no, I found somebody else, and you go, okay, I'm just curious, what made you use them? Just out of curiosity. Right. And sometimes they're more unwilling to just go, they don't message you back. Okay, easy enough. But sometimes I like to know, well, they were a little bit cheaper. They had better reviews. They said they could get here right away. Okay. And you start building this memory bank, which realistically you should start. I like to make a list. And that way you can put on the list what's working, what's not working. You kind of go, okay, I'm noticing people are, like broken springs. In my opinion, broken springs are always as soon as you can get there, right? You can almost probably charge another $100 to $300, depending where you're at, on top of your normal for broken springs. Because people, it's like I said, it's the fire extinguisher event, right? Nobody gives a rat's ass about a fire extinguisher until there's a fire. Oh my gosh, where's the fire extinguisher? Or call 911. It's that kind of, broken spring. My car's trapped. Holy crap. Tomorrow we got to take the kids to school. Holy crap. I got a doctor's appointment tomorrow, and they just start running through whoever they find. And like I said, that's where it'd be nice to, if you could lock them up a little bit, because, they might have already called 7 companies before they got to you. You're the only one that answered right away. And then I ain't gonna lie, I've done it before. I've had it where I've undercutted like $20-$30 and just to get the job. So you don't know what they're doing, right? If somebody calls back and goes, I've had them where I call them, they go, oh, I got in it. I'm like, okay, I'm just curious. What do they charge? Oh, they're going to charge me, whatever, $145. Oh, wow. Geez. Yeah. Shoot, man. Our service calls are only, $65. This is back in the day. Oh, really? Yeah. But, hey, if you're all set, oh, you know what? Let me call them back. So you're saying 65 plus. So we're only talking 300. They were talking, 500-600. Yeah, we could take care of you. Let me call them back. Can I call you back? Sure. Things like that happen. Whereas I said, like, I'd almost like to be able to get a $20 or $30 something deposit, and this is going to go towards your, whatever. It's just non-refundable. It's for us to come out, and then, you show up, do your job. You show up, and there's another truck there. You go, well, at least you made $30. See ya. What's Tony? Or it's Kevin. He says, what kind of lube, Tony? Sounds like drying out after a month, maybe something heavier. Ooh, that's a good one. The white lithium grease comes with LiftMaster. I put it all over the roller stem. Man, that's crazy. Dude, that is crazy. Now the problem is for Tony, they are just deadly focused on it. You know what I mean? He's got to make it 100%, 110%, 150% right for the customer. Man, Tony, I hope you figure it out, because I want to know. I really do. But I feel like, gosh, I don't know. I feel like I twist that roller around a little bit. You wouldn't think that's a problem, or check, like I said, if you can get a better video of it. I think it was a drywall ceiling, so it ain't going to be nice to do it. But I thought maybe a mid support, maybe that top bracket is goofy on the door. Because like I said, it looked like when the panel come up, you ever see that? Like in the third panel, I think I've seen it in the second panel though, where it'll buck on the track. Like it'll buck up to the top, and you're like, whoa, like, why isn't it sitting like it's cradled? And I've either noticed it's either on my top flag bracket, the adjustable one. I've had it happen because I didn't have the sections. I've noticed that before. Like if you don't got the sections right with, if you got 18s and 21s and whatever 24s, like you got to get that rhythm kind of right. Kevin says we are old school. Use 1040. We use some motor oil. I tried the motor oil stuff, man. A little squirt can. It just seemed like it made such a mess. It just wasn't worth it for me. My one buddy that used to be in the garage door business, he was probably doing it maybe a few years before me. He worked for somebody else. He worked for his uncle. He was one that got me onto it. He's the one that passed away, but I tried it. He's like, yeah, you bring a rag, blah, blah, blah. And I tried it. It just seemed like it would, like, as soon as I spit it out, it would just like fall to the ground. And I'm like, oh, I just put motor oil on your nice concrete here. I'm sorry. Is my car leaking? No, it's just the motor oil. But it's a lot cheaper. Should use some used oil. That'd be black. It'd be nasty. It says, I've been thinking about some washers behind the hinge. Sounds like we're playing detective here. And Tony's already given some clues. Why some rollers, Tony? Or why some washers behind the hinge? Is that hinge bucking? Is that thing bucking like I think it is? Is that what's causing it? We got to find out why it's bucking, because I don't know if Tony, like, I can't say for sure. It's one of those things, like, I got to look at it, stare at it, and meditate with it. But I know some doors are funny about where that top hinge is, right? That top flag bracket with adjustable on it, right? This is just me winging it here, but I've had it where if you flip the bracket, that's made different changes. I've had it before, like some doors like them at the top, like it's almost like it's too much for them to be at the top, like they need to be brought down, and that'd be like where the strut would go across. Like that's how they're engineered. I've had that happen before. Because if you ever notice, like on a top panel, if you put that bracket at the very top of the panel and you extend that puppy way out, like you'll see the sections really doing some weird stuff. It's normally when you're trying to like fudge things. I've had that happen. Like I used to, we used to have it where, like, you talk to the secretary, I think you can knock out like an inch and a half,
no more than 2 inches out of the track, or if you're raising the track, and then you know how it is. I've tried every different way to cheat the system, and it's like it's an engineered process, and you cannot go against it because it'll fudge you, it'll screw you up somewhere else. You know what I mean? Like where I've tried to like make the top brackets even extend out farther to make it here, but then if you got a low headroom situation or something that it's going to hit, you know what I mean? Like it doesn't work that way. You got to do low headroom. You got to do, trust me, I've tried to cheat the system every which way, and it always comes back. I mean, you can get a little bit, but you can't. You get greedy, and she'll bite you. Tony says, Kevin, he said, that's what I use. He said I used WD-40 all the time. It will not stain as well. Ooh, that's a good one. Because that other stuff from Silver Spring's a little heavy if you use the one, but it's good for chains. But it will leave it looks gooey after a while. It picks up dirt. Kevin says, we use motor oil 1040 and an oil can. Old school, baby. Old school. Kevin, is there a reason you really use the 1040? Is that just heavier, or is it a cost savings? I'm just kind of curious because it seemed like when I looked at it, I was like, this is, like it's, could be a good cost savings. Buy a bottle of some 1040. What's this one got? Tony says only been in the 6 months. Been in the hole. Got it. I don't know, man. Like I said, Tony, like I said, if that thing's bucking, that's goofy to me. If the track's tipping, that's goofy. If it's because you know how sometimes they cheat you. Those manufacturers, man, they can get you sometimes. Sometimes they do it. I've had like two of the same doors, and I'm like, so which one's which? Like, why is this track got a full piece of L channel down the whole side of it, and then you get another one and it's only a partial way one, and I'm like, is it determined because it has a window section? Is it determined it's a sandwich door? They just screwed up and they just chucked it with it. But like I said, after I kind of zoomed in, it was a little bit of a hard video. I could see something was going on. I seen track movement. I think that thing just bucked. I watched the hinge buck. That's normally not a good sign. Those normally shouldn't do that, right? And I thought, okay, so where's the strain at? Where's it getting strained? I don't know why, if it bucked, why it would be such a big deal, but it's just something, another variable. Evan's guy, I don't know. He says, it just seems I have an easier time dealing with potential customers through Facebook. Wow. Well, like I said, some people, everybody's all different. Everybody is all different, just how they interact. And you don't know which way they're going to come from, customers. You don't know if they're going to come from Facebook, Nextdoor, Craigslist, Bandit Sign, Google, a referral, a sticker. That's why I kind of like always, there really isn't no bad advertising, right? I mean, it's just, you got to kind of figure out what works for you and what customers you like, or, maybe, just keep it open. Just keep it open. If something seems like it's working, then put more money into it. I'm a big text guy. I like to text. It keeps everything documented. I like it for rentals and stuff. I like everything to be like, nope, that's not what you said. I'm not very good. That's why the business has secretaries. I was never good with the whole emails and what did you say for, an address, all that kind of stuff. I'd rather have them just lay it out to me, text it to me. Tony says, speaking of loyalty, says, and customers, I had a 20 years ago, I did work for through another company. With me mentioning the company in my bio, he also able to find me we come out, work on his door after 20 years. Heck yeah. That's pretty cool. I don't seem like in the residential, we get a ton. We get more people like the kids and stuff like that will be there. The mom's getting older or something, or the dad, and they see the sticker. That's always a big one. I don't remember going across too many people. I mean, not to say they just don't really bring it to your attention. Like when we did, like a condo association and stuff like that, we were kind of locked into them. Those ones always seemed like they kept using us, but for the most part, I see a sticker on it. They just kind of called. We're they got us. It never felt as good as like the commercial ones. I'm with Dave. You might have to center hang door to keep track from deflecting. Might have to do that so you can at least eliminate that as a possibility. Yeah, I'm with Kevin. It's the whole process of elimination. It's gonna suck though if he's got to do it and it's got drywall. The customer might not be real on board with that. And then trying to find studs and all that. But like I said, I guess it's one of those things, Tony. If you get a chance to get over there again or whatever, or you figure it out, let us know for sure. Because I'm definitely curious on it because there was nothing that stood out, and we all know, as much as I like to give Tony crap, he knows what he's doing, and he's just got this one's it's just one of those little things that's just something's off, and new roller, grease, new hinge. I mean, but like I said, I thought I seen deflection. Something caught me in my when I was watching it, and then. And like I said, if I could play it, I would, but I'm not on that software to do it. And so you guys can let me know if you want to see it. I'll try to get it so it downloads and maybe we can zoom on it and it can do one a little later here, and we'll try to look at it together and see if we can see anything that looks obvious. But man, it's that thing I always say, right? Variables, variables, and variables. There's a lot of variables. Oh, when it comes to the garage door business. Oh, man. Yeah, Tony or Rusty's got an idea too, It's a possibility. I don't know if anybody's got any details on this, and I know it might be hard to do in the comments, but I was literally thinking about it. I've been doing garage doors, I've been in the game for about 18 years. And I don't, I'm kind of what they consider an expert. Like I said, I don't consider myself to know everything. I'm always learning. And that's what I love doing. I love learning. I love learning from you guys. I hope, some of the newcomers and stuff like that, they can learn from us older seasoned vet guys, and hopefully we can solve problems for it. I enjoy it. I really do. But, when I was thinking about it, I was like, we use the flag brackets on the side, right? And I was thinking those are already slipped in. And I know it's a whole process with the hinges, and that's what it's pushing against the weather seal on the outside, right? And I kept thinking about it when I was kind of laying in bed, and I thought, okay, so why don't we just do like number ones? I was like, just do number one hinges. I was like, the track is already tipped in. So as the door goes down, right, it's pushing. And I know you can't really do it for the top, but I thought you really need that hinge spacement to really get that whole calculation in to where it pushes against. Because I have gone to customers that have installed doors or had somebody install it for them. And they had all the, how it is. They have the rollers in all the wrong spots. You're like, they're supposed to be, but it works. It works. It doesn't really look the prettiest, but it works. And how it's like, you're like, I'm not touching that. Like, I just leave that. The track looks goofy. Something's already buried in there now. We're just going to leave it. It works. It works. I'm just here for a broken spring. How long has it been installed? It's about 20 years ago. Well, it's going to stay like that for hopefully another 20. I'm going to change the spring, and I'm good. I'm going to oil this puppy down. And Evan, one thing you got to remember, the customers don't care about your time. That is true. That's how it is for, I think, Tony's area, and that's how it is for my area. Like I said, they when it comes to the customers, they really just, it's me, and me. You know what I mean? It's just, how fast can you do it? How cheap can you do it? When can you get here? And certain things, right? It's not always, but it's just, I get it. You know what I mean? It's, don't know. Our plans, they are your plans. They like to have to, what is this? You're at their mercy. That's what Tony's got. Tony says you got that right. It just seems Facebook Messengers has been more direct. Like, my garage door isn't working. Is it possibly this issue? Can you come out this time? Yeah, sure, no problem. Evan, I'm just curious too. If you get a chance, I've been trying to experiment with this stuff a little bit myself for some of the newcomers, to have some better like content for them to understand how to get out there and kind of do stuff. How are you marketing it on Facebook? Because Facebook is a little bit sensitive about service on there. Like, they'll shut you down right away. Like, we don't offer that. It's made for, so I don't know if you're paying for this or you're disguising it where it's just, kind of doing it for like the dollar. I'd be curious if you could, either shoot me a picture or a text or however is easiest through the Facebook world. I don't know. Or whatever, be friends with me. Should be, I don't know if I have, I don't know. I'd just be curious of how you're doing it. And is it working? You're not getting shrugged off on it. Cause I think that's always great. The Facebook part of it, because, I know my brother-in-law, like I said, he does flooring and stuff, coatings, and he spent a ton of money. He totally shut that thing down pretty much. He was like, man, it's blowing through so much money. It's not even worth it. He's got a good customer base going now, so he really doesn't need it so much. But I think I'm always thinking about the new guys, because I get a lot of people that reach out to me that are just, where do I start? Do I got to get a hat? Do I got to get a truck? Do I got to get, and I'm like, you just get out there and get going, baby. Just start it. What's he got? Jeffrey's got, ran into some vertical extension ring mounted to the floor on Friday. Ooh. The hookup was converted over on floor. Old 8-foot wood door. Dang, man. I dealt with some of those old torsion springs, or they were extension springs on the floor next to it. Man, those things they were deadly. It's like, how am I supposed to get this out of here? I think we brought the door up all the way and made it work. It wasn't too bad, but it's still, they're just a different animal. Ooh. Luckily, we were gutting it and getting it out of there and putting a new one in. Tony says, yeah, that's what I assume. He says, Jeffrey, is that a one piece? I'm assuming that's a one piece. Damn, is it sectional? Jeffrey says. Sectional. God dang. That's weird. That is weird. It's Kevin. It says cheaper doesn't dry out. Says cheaper doesn't dry out after a few services. Almost like door gets to a point where it's saturated and won't really take more on roller stems. Interesting. Well, I'm glad it's cheaper, because that's why I always thought about using it. I'm just kind of curious, Kevin, do you use the oil canner? Do you got one with a solid stem on it, or do you got one with a flexible? Because I think I bought one time at like AutoZone or something. It had like a flexible end to it, nozzle. And I think I threw it away when I was a kid. I think it was my dad's old one. I was like, well, I'll never use this. I don't know what this is. And it was an oil can. I think I prefer the solid stem, but I'm just curious of what you use. What's this one got? Tony says, yeah, it's a 16x7, just standard. All the panels are the same. Well, that eliminates that. I mean, the only thing I think is, it happens to us all, but maybe check the hinges, make sure the hinges aren't off. You got a 2 on another side or something's goofy. And then possibly, like I said, that top hinge, right? That adjustable one. Where do you got that, Tony? Do you got a strut on the top and then the brackets below the strut? I'm just curious. Or you got the strut below the bracket, And then another thing that comes to my mind is I wonder, Tony, if you disconnect the opener and you get on a ladder and you push it, if something would pop in your brain, or if you got Paige up there, somebody to push it back and forth while it keep popping, maybe for you, maybe not, maybe you got to make a full cycle. But I know sometimes if you hold on to that J bar and you sit there and you play with that thing right back and forth, it's amazing how you'll see something and you'll go, there's something. Oh, I see the door shifting, or the door is doing this, or yeah, I don't like that, or the track's deflecting, or I see it's lifting up when you're on top, something like that. Boy, I tell you what, when I figured that out one time, when I had problems and you sit there and pretend you're the opener, especially when I had stuff that wouldn't do it by hand because you're pulling the door down, from the bottom section. But man, I learned a lot from doing that. What's Evan got? Anyone still having the issues with the residential Chamberlain side mounts without the cable tensioner monitor? Got a family member a couple hours away who has taken the old family pig barn and converted. Ooh, that's a good question. Into a garage. Not sure about the door. He says he might need side mounts, but I have to get pictures. Absolutely get some pictures. Because if you could do the old trolley, do the old trolley. That's what I'm thinking. Roller stems. My understanding is, I think this was part of something else. It's for Kevin. Tony says it might be bucking, like you said. Like I said, there was something, man. I swear, you just seen it just lift off a little bit, and I know I can't say I know for sure, but I just know that's a problem because I've had it before. I remember I've had some doors, they'd be up in the radius. I'd be like, how is this even happening? Like, I remember it confused the hell out of me. I'd be like, how is that roller one's touching the top of the track, the other two are touching the bottom? And then it was like, as I progressively started going on, I think there were more like 10 by 10 doors that would get me. I realized that, you're supposed to stack those sections, which I know this one doesn't apply. But then I feel like it's that top bracket too, on the very top of the door, that it can do stuff, right? And I think it's because the reason I know this is because I was trying to manipulate it. So what I do is I take that bracket, put it right at the top, right? Put the strut below. And I was extending them out as far as they go to make them so they seal on that top, right? Because something goofy was going on. And you'd watch them, and it's like it was just pulling on that panel, screaming, like it didn't like it, Most time, if people aren't messaging me directly, I'm answering the questions in local groups. Okay. Who here can perform garage door service? I usually start dialogue and go from there. Okay. That's cool. Evan, do you got any like certain groups you think that are better? You just kind of doing like the city groups, like you're just and the thing is, like, I don't know how some of those, like, you get flagged in them, like, so you'll be notified. I'm not real keen on that because, like, sometimes they show up, and that's sometimes the bloodbath of the world that we live in, right? I see people all the time in certain cities, right? They'll pull something. Anybody do windows? And it's like, does anybody do concrete? I'm thinking, I just go, holy crap. How do you stand like, and I've even had some that I've tested it a little bit. Like, you don't even get like a response. And so like, I basically look at it and I'm almost just want to do it for the fun of it and be like, hey, I can come take a look at it. And I'm free service, which of course some people are going to go, free? I'm not using this guy. Like, that's nuts. But it just blows my mind at how saturated it is. And I just go, psh. I'm not even throwing my hat in that ring, man. That's just silliness. That's just, and then sometimes it makes me think about the customer. Like, and like I said, I'm almost looking for feedback. I'm not saying, I just look at it and I go, is that laziness on the customers? Is this a good move? I mean, it's kind of a good move, maybe, right? Because I know I've posted some stuff about painters and stuff for rentals and that. And I'm like, okay. Like, I just don't know how I feel about it. Rest of the time, it's been word of mouth. Word of mouth is always good. Repeat customers, Stickers is always a big help. Stickers, business cards. I mentioned it before. I used to take my business card because I have stickers at the time. I used to take clear tape, Probably better off doing what Tony does, stick it, by the wall button or something, put a little staple in it, maybe if you can, or something just to hang it there. My understanding LiftMaster has fixed issues with residential jack shaft. Nice. I hope so, man. I hope so. I don't know if anybody on here we've used. I've only done 3 that were under 3 or 6. I can't remember, but of the Genie jack shaft residential ones, and we had 0 callbacks, and it was kind of far away. I was scared. We had 0 callbacks, but I don't know if anybody. I'm just curious. If anybody's here has ever used the Genie ones or been using the Genie ones and had any luck with them? They still holding up, or they get tons of callbacks? They got circuit board problems. I'm just kind of curious. I know most of you guys lean towards the LiftMaster. Dun, dun, dun. Kevin says mine has flex stem. I also apply my oil as I'm installing door so I can get it in all nooks and crannies. Huh. Okay, so you got the flex one. Okay. I was just curious. It's like flex stem or solid. Evan says he says Kevin Gerber. He says thanks. He says I'll definitely give LiftMaster a try if that's the door needs. Yeah, just remember, like I said, if he can go, just because Evan, you said the words that scare Uncle Dave. What did you say? An hour away or a couple hours? So just make sure you do your homework, man. Because I tell you what, those we love our family, right? But man, they can be a real pain in the hiney sometimes. So you want to make sure you go with something tried and true. And like I said, I'm always a big trolley guy. If you got to go the jack shafts, like I said, give them a try. I can't. Like I said, we're always trying to find the cleanest shirt in the dirty laundry basket, and I haven't tried the new ones. And hopefully, like I said, they're rocking and rolling. I think what's really scaring me with a lot of these new ones now is, I mentioned this before, and I don't think we really got to the bottom of it. But I'm assuming, right? If a garage door spring breaks and it's got 2 garage door springs, let's say on a 16x7 garage door, how confident are we the opener is going to help you lift that garage door if you got to get a car out of there? Because I've done that a lot back in the day. I did that a lot. Anytime I see 2 springs, one's broke, cables are still on, everything's good, I'd program me a remote. I'd either get the customer to push the button. I've even pushed the button and ran over there and helped the garage door up. I don't feel confident with these new ones that that's going to be the case. I think it's going to freak out. I think it's going to feel, if you're putting too much force on it while you're lifting right, I always help it go up to help make the gears not bust and break or whatever when it was going up. But I just worry about this new stuff. So what I'm getting at is that you said it was a barn. I don't know the whole situation. Is it got manure in this thing? Has it got dust? Has it got rabbits? Has it got animals? And I just sit there and I just go, well, could the conditions change enough? And maybe somebody here knows what's the cycles that these things got to go, right? Till they learn the new, because they're supposed to know about like wintertime. As the conditions change, the oil starts stiffening up, the springs and everything. They're supposed to learn. I forget how many cycles is it, every 3 or 6 cycles. Maybe one of you guys know how many cycles it takes for the LiftMasters to relearn their force settings. So stuff like that just makes me a little nervous. Where like that barn or something, if it's kind of a dirty one or something or whatever, maybe they're turning it nice. I don't know, but still using the old garage doors. Man, I look at a good old ATS or something on there, the old school ones, the mechanical limits, man. Crank that puppy up. Let's rock and roll. Train everyone to oil as they install. He says they wait till the end. They tend to forget. That's true. And so I'm going to add to Kevin on that one, right? I can't say, it definitely doesn't hurt, right? But I've ran into with employees and stuff like that, and including myself. I've always wanted guys to spray the doors down, especially when they're done. And it can get forgot because the customer, you're loading up tools, they want to make payment, they want to get out of there, blah, blah, blah. But I always notice for myself, and I don't know if you guys are, some of you guys are like this. I've noticed when I spray lube on the garage door, how many more things I identify when I spray them, right? Like I've been spraying hinges, and I'm like, ooh, shoot, forgot to put a couple screws in that one, or forgot to do the second screw. It must, that's because the customer came out, or I had to walk to the truck and take a phone call, or something fell, or whatever. So like when we do preventative maintenance on stuff, I tell you that spray lube can really, any kind of lube can really help you look at things. You know, I was going to get to a point one time, right? We used to have to do this when I worked in a factory because I had guys that missed things. I was going to make them take a permanent marker, or even a marker that maybe it's infrared or something like that. Am I saying that right? UV, black light could only see it, where they marked it. They had to mark everything. So if they went back and this was a problem, basically after a couple of times, you're going to get fired. You know what I mean? Or you're not doing your job. You know, you're not going through here and checking things, man. We got loose bolts. We got this. We got track bolts. We got something out of the back hang that's screwed up, man. You can't be leaving stuff like that. Tony says, when I get home, I'll post that video on the third roller pop. There you go. Anybody wants to see the video on YouTube? Heck yeah, there you go. That's perfect. Do that, Tony. Check it out. Replaced a board on an 85 residential. Yeah, the 85s, man. That's what started for me. That's what started for me, man. Those things were had a lot of problems, man. We were going at them hard and heavy, and then we had nothing but problems. Jeffrey says less problems with the Genie side mounts. LiftMaster side mounts seem to be the door profile settings. Yeah, you know, I just I don't know. I don't know. They make me nervous. They make me nervous. Dun-dun-dun-dun. What you got here? To put your mind at ease, Dave. The reason I'd get the must be the side mount would be if the door is a high lift door. Yes. Or a vertical. Yes. It's a normal track setup. Doing the 8365. Perfect. Perfect. I get it. I get it. I get it. You don't know, Evan, you don't know what size those doors are going to be, though. Probably at all, do you? They probably don't have a size. So my first thing was like, just go with an MT. Go with an MT. Or no, MJ. Sorry, not MT. That's MT's trolley. Do an MJ. Do an MJ. And I go, no. In my head, I go, no. Don't go MJ. MJ suck, man. They're just so hardcore. They snap, they crackle, they pop. They just go with a J. And that's getting to be too much money. That's just too expensive. That's a lot. But maybe the new LiftMasters, right? With the DC motors. Maybe. If it's normal track setup. Oh, if it's normal track setup, he's got, yeah. Yep. It's always one of those things. You always want to move the door, right? Not dump the springs. That's how I always look at it, you know. Kevin says their final check is white down service wise. Yes, oil door forces you to look over things more closely than treating original problem. Yeah, it's wipe down is not a bad idea. You know what I mean? Wipe it down, check everything out. That's really not a bad idea at all. You know, like I said, with some of our more commercial and stuff like that, when we have to do preventative maintenance, just to make sure the guys are going through things, it's always like, I always thought about doing like a marker, but then it's like, what are you going to do? Change the marker color every time? And then is it going to look kind of like nasty if it's a nicer door? Geez, you got pink marker on what's up with all those pink dots everywhere? You know, well, we've already used the whole rainbow. So yeah, we got to use, we had to use purple or pink. White wasn't available anymore. Definitely though. I think it's just, let me just check here, Tony. If you can too, Tony, put up, let me see here what it pops up if I can find Tony. So maybe we could check it out because there might be a million of them. And then is it like, there's one. I was gonna say, Tony, put up your what you did your YouTube channel as, because let me see here. Let me see here. Because I don't know if it's together or if it's with something. Got any numbers? Because I show up the one, right? It shows up some dude. This is not you, though. Let's try putting a space in it. Take the space out. We got Tony Miller's Sunday school lesson. That sounds like Tony. Just joking here. I think, let me double check too, make sure Tony didn't. It says Tony Miller. So he says when allowed him to change it. He says he's going to change his name to Surewinder. What a jerk. Just to rub it in my face. I know it. Tony Miller. I'm going to do, let's do garage door just to see if it pulls up anything. Hey, I found it. We got 4 views on there, baby. Sweet. Sweet. There you go. It is this Tony Miller. I think it's Tony, might be Tony Miller 1. I'm not sure what that 1 means. If that's 1 subscriber, what here? Let's change this. I don't know if that's how it pops up, but it was Tony Miller. Nice. We'll make sure we give it a like. But definitely, Tony, put it on there. Like I said, we'll see what we can do. I think, like I said, it showed up as Tony. No, it did. It's Tony Miller. But I just typed in Tony Miller, and then the way I found it is I did garage door. But honestly, it'd probably be easier for people to do the Invicta door, garage door. That's probably why it pulled up, though, because I typed garage door. So there you go. We'll have to look for Tony's his video, so maybe we can help him out. I sure hope he finds out what's the problem, though. That's for sure. But anywho, I think I'm going to head off here. Like I said, got some evening chores to take care of. I hope you guys have a great rest of the week. I hope things go good. Hope you make lots of money. And if you got anything, send it to me. Like I said, you can send an email, text, send me those pictures. I'll check out Rusty's. Thanks, Rusty, for sending me those. That's pretty cool. And Tony, let me know. We'll just have to keep in touch on what you find out eventually for that thing. Or let me know too when you post it, so I can check it out on there too, and just kind of we'll see if we can get some comments or somebody can kind of mention what do they think the problem is. All right, guys. I hope you have a wonderful rest of the evening. Take care. Remember, keep your fingers, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks for being here.